Well, I am definitely shocked. I think that Lukashenko definitely crossed the border in a way in how he represses opponents. If before the political and human rights crisis in Belarus was an internal issue, now we can see that it actually affects everyone. It affects the region, it affects neighboring countries, and it affects basically Europe and the US even, because there were passengers who were US, UK and EU citizens on the plane. So it basically, Lukashenko is a threat to European security.
Yeah, and he was in Athens. Roman was in Athens covering a speech of the exiled opposition leader. As she has pointed out, no one now is safe.
This is very true, and that's something that we heard already 1 month ago when deputy head of the Interior Ministry said that everyone will be found and everyone will be prosecuted, basically, that these are international terrorists, as this deputy head of the ministry mentioned. So we kind of expected that, and as you see, this was not prevented. This kind of not much was done to prevent this from happening. At the same time, I would say, as much as I'm shocked, I'm also kind of, we expected that, because all this was escalating. There were signs that this would escalate, and Lukashenko feels backed in a corner. So he feels threatened inside the country because of people's discontent, because they did not give up. They are opposing him, and that's why he feels that he needs to kind of fight the dissent as much as he can. So I would say that there much more actually might come, unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's look at Roman Protasevich. What do we know about what's happened to him? There must be grave fears held for his safety now.
Indeed, this is very true. So Roman Protasevich was flying to Vilnius, where he is currently based. So the plane was forced to land, and he was immediately arrested. And we immediately understood when the plane was actually diverted that it's because of him, because I knew that he was on the plane. So now he has 3 criminal cases that were launched against him before, and he is on the KGB terrorist list. So which means that the kind of national security services were looking for him. We don't know whether he might face new accusations yet. We haven't heard about new charges yet. But if these charges are related to terrorism, then this is going to be a very obviously grave case, a very grave accusation. Now there are already 3 criminal cases. The lawyer hasn't been allowed yet to the prison. Roman Protasevich might be in the KGB prison, so the lawyer is not allowed. And the question is, when is the lawyer going to be allowed to the prison? Because the regime, the Belarusian regime, sometimes forbids lawyers from coming to and seeing their defendants.
The EU is considering what has happened today in meetings. There's talks of sanctions. But what international measures do you think might be effective against Lukashenko, given you say he is feeling so cornered at this point?
Well, firstly, sanctions should be indeed adopted, and those sanctions should be targeted, should be more painful, should be consequent, and should be serious. It's very important to firmly and publicly maintain the non-recognition of Alexander Lukashenko. Just a reminder, the EU did not recognize the election results, so the EU should demand a new free and fair election this year as soon as possible, since it did not recognize it. Negotiations should start as soon as possible. Lukashenko does not agree to listen to people's voices, so more pressure should be imposed on him. And again, all this should be more kind of well thought, because his cronies, his oligarchs should be cut from their funding, from their finances being held in the EU, abroad. So it all should be investigated. And obviously, when it comes to investigation, the international investigation into what happened with the Ryanair plane should also start as soon as possible.
And Hanna, give me a sense for you. I mean, if this has happened to a colleague of yours who has been abducted literally from another nation, from another country where he was seeking exile, what is it like to try and work within the country as a journalist?
Well, it's very hard. Only last week, the largest, the most influential media outlet was literally demolished. Journalists were arrested, including the editor-in-chief. This media outlet is called Tut.by, is one of the most important ones in the country. And now there are currently more than 20 journalists who have been arrested. So basically, we are prevented from doing our job. People like my colleagues are threatened. They are arrested. They are sent to jail for years. And basically, it's either arrest or self-censorship. So I think Lukashenko is trying to prevent us from publishing anything, from doing our job. And as we can see, he doesn't have any bounds, and he would not stop for now. He will only escalate.
Yeah. Hanna, we do appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.